Hello and welcome to Goa 365's Assembly Audit. Today was the first day of the budget session of the Goa Assembly. Now, normally anybody would say, okay, it's a budget session, the budget will happen and all that. So basically, it would be important because only about the budget. But this time, it probably has a little more importance because the Lok Sabha elections are coming up very soon. And as far as our sources say, that probably the code of conduct will happen as soon as by first week or mid of March, with elections in probably mid of April. That's what our sources say. Nothing confirmed as such, but because of that, this assembly session is so important. Also, it gains even more importance because in the middle of the session, our Prime Minister will be in Goa kicking off. You can't say kicking off because the BJP is always in election mode, but having a huge rally at Margao. So to discuss all these issues, I have a very senior panel with me, but mainly the budget. Sorry, this is an assembly, but things happen. Starting with Mohandas Bab Lolekar from Goa. Mohandas Bab, welcome to our show. Welcome. Siddharth Bab Samant, analyst, advocate. Siddharth Bab, welcome to our show. P.O. Bab Barreto from AAP. P.O. Bab, welcome to our show. First time, welcome.
Thank you.
Sunil Bab Kauntankar from the Congress, very close friend of mine, but estranged or after a long time I'm meeting him. Sunil Bab, welcome to our show. Mohandas Bab, give us a general. गव्हर्नर
आयलो सदां भशेन उलयलो ताका तें बरो हांव गव्हर्नराचें हें करना कित्याक गव्हर्नराक तिचो ड्युटी ताणें कोणें बरोवन दिल्लें तें हाडपाचें आनी वाचपाचें ताका न्ही ताजेर वयर कांय से ना ताका दिता ताका ग्रावंड तो आतां गोंयांत भरपूर भोंवता पूण ताका ग्रावंड रियलिटी खबर ना हांव बजेटांतल्यो काही गजाली तुमकां सांगता की क्रायम म्हणटा तो अवर स्टेट पोलीस इन्श्योर द क्रायम लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिच्युएशन स्टेट रिमेन अंडर द कंट्रोल म्हण कितें दिसा एक मर्डर जाता अंडर द कंट्रोल धरलो म्हणजे अंडर द कंट्रोल जालें क्रायम कंट्रोल केन्ना जाता जेन्ना क्रायम जायना तेन्ना ताका कंट्रोल म्हणून क्रायम जालो आनी कोणा तरी धरलो इट इज नॉट अ कंट्रोल सेकंड हांव आनीक घेता की ताणी जें हें केलां कित्याक टायम चड आसूं ना ब्रीफ हें करता ताणी एग्रीकल्चराचेर उलयलो तो एग्रीकल्चराचेर तो कितें सांगता की माय गव्हर्मेंट इज प्रोवायडींग असिस्टंट अंडर द एग्रीकल्चर आनी तातूंत तो दिता हांव ग्रावंड रियलिटी सांगता कोकोनट फ्रॉम ₹12 पर नट ₹15 पर नट अशें म्हणटा तो आतां हांव एक कोकोनट ग्रोवर ल्हान आहा म्हाजें कोकोनट मेळ्ळ्यार तो ₹15 दितो न्ही म्हाका कोकोनट मेळना कित्याक मेळना जंगलांतली जी माकड आहा ते येवन सगळीं खातात आतां ताका मारूं जायना फॉरेस्ट एक्टा प्रमाणे माकडां मारूं जायना आज सबंद गोंयांत जर वचत सिटीच्या लोकांक एका तें खबर उरचें ना पूण जर स्टेट गांवांत जर वचत तर गांवगिरी वाठारांत कळटलें की माकोड एक नाल्ल दवरना सो ₹15 मेळपाक प्रश्न खंय आहा ₹15 हांवें नाल्ल दिल्यार मेळटलो अरे जो मागे बोंड तो उडयता म्हाका प्रॅक्टिकली म्हाका 1000 नाल्ल पडटा जाल्यार ह्या खेपेक 100 सुद्दां पडना सो गव्हर्मेंट हाजेर कितें करता म्हणजे एग्रीकल्चराची सबसिडी दिता म्हणटा तो म्हणजे आमी खर्च करप सबसिडी ₹2 दिली ₹10 आमी खर्च करप एक हाजे फाटल्यान हांव तुका एग्जांपल दिता आनी मेळप काय ना इल्ड काय ना सो गव्हर्मेंटान येवन मेजूं जाय गव्हर्मेंटान मदीं पडलें ना फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट तुमकां पयशे दितले खंय फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंटान सांगचे एक नाल्ला कोणा पयशे दिला काय म्हण सो थंय कांय ना डीडीएसवाय प्रायवेट हॉस्पिटलां वयतल्या कळटलें म्हाजे कडेन पयर एक दोतोर विचारपाक लागलो की 1 कोटीचें बील अजून आपल्याक पडना थोड्यांक पडना जेंची इन्फ्लुएन्स आहा तांकां पडटा अशें म्हणटा तो सेकंडली डीडीएसवाय त्या हॉस्पिटल ओके हॉस्पिटलाचें हांव घेना कित्याक ते बीग शॉट हांव लोकांचें घेता डीडीएसवाय घेवन जर तूं हॉस्पिटलांत जर वचत तो म्हणटा हाका मेळना तुगेले हाका इतले मेळटले ताजे वयले तुवें कॅश दिवचे पडटले मागीर तुका डीडीएसवाय फायदो कितें एक गरीब मनीस जर डीडीएसवाय घेवन जर हातूंत गेलो हॉस्पिटलांत गेलो ताका 100% एटलीस्ट 90% तरी मेळपा जाय कितेंय डिसीज वरूं अमक्या डिसीजाक तूं इतलो दितलो म्हणटा कितें अमक्या दिसाक दितो 1000 जालो की प्रायवेट हॉस्पिटलाक वयले पयशे फारीक करून वचपाचो सो तुजी यूज कितें सो तूं स्कीम केला स्कीम बरी आहा तुवें बरयला सगळें पूण ताजेर हें कांय ना न्ही अशी जे काही हे केला पळय बजेट सो बजेटाक म्हाका अशें दिसलें की फाटली पेजी वयल्यान फुडें चालू केला कोणी तरी बरोवन दिला आनी गव्हर्नरान येवन वाचला दुसरे फर्स्ट टायम म्हाका दिसता खेळ तियात्राचेर टॅक्स लावपाचे आमगेलो आलेस सिकेर उलयला ऑफकोर्स आलेस सिकेर म्हागे बरो फ्रेंड आलेस सिकेर उलयलो म्हणटा चूक ना कित्याक आलेस सिकेरा खबर दिसलो लास्ट टर्म सो कॅथलीक हितूंक जे आहा पळय खेळ तियात्र म्हणटा जनरली चड लागता तो कम्युनिटी ऑफ द कॅथलीक सो ताका खबर आहा की हें आपल्या मत मारचें ना आपल्याक तांचे कांय पडणे गेलो ना सो टॅक्स वाडयले कितें जावपाचें आहा सो हो एटिट्यूड गव्हर्मेंटाचो उरपा जायना आपल्याक कितें जातलो हो गव्हर्मेंट एटिट्यूड उरपा जायना. सो म्हाका दिसता गव्हर्नराली स्पीच म्हणटा ती पळय एक ती बोगस एक ते सद्य येवन वाचपाक जाय म्हण वाचला. ताका बजेट चालू जाले की ताणें ते येवन वाचपाक जाय म्हण तो वाचता. तितूंतल्यान गोंयच्या लोकांक एक पयशाचो फायदो ना. बाकीचे सगळे बरें आसा. ऑफकोर्स आतां गोवा गव्हर्मेंट इव्हेंट भरपूर बरी उडयता, तितून प्रश्न कांय ना. मोठे मोठे फंक्शन म्हळ्यार फुलू कुस्तार खोदने म्हणटा पळय जे कोंकणी भाशेन ते खोदने मारपाक गोवा गव्हर्मेंट कसो आयकना. त्या खोदन्याचो कितें कितें कोणाक फायदो जाता पळय ते फायदो आसतना खबर उरतले, पूण कॉमन मनशाक एक पयशाचो फायदो ना. जसं म्हाजें क्लियर. सो ह्या बजेटाक कांय अर्थ ना. आनी उलोवपाक कितले दीस मेळटात? उलोवपाक हांकां कितले दीस मेळटात? आमच्या पार्टीचे प्रेसिडेंटान आमदार विजय जाय ते प्रश्न त्या उलोवपाक मेळटले तेजेर उलोवपाक मेळचे ना. सो बजेटाचो यूज ह्या सेशनाचो यूज ना. जस्ट एक सोपस्कार करपा जाय, बजेट घेवपा जाय. म्हळ्यार कशें आहा की बापायले श्राद्ध घालपा जाय म्हण भटा हाडलो आनी पिंड दिले आनी मोकळो गेलो. चल सांजे वचून बारान बसले आनी सोरो केले. ह्या स्टायलीची येते. सो म्हाका दिसना हितून कितें फायदो आहा म्हणून.
Okay, thanks, Mohandas Bab. Siddharth Bab, now before we go into the other details, Maka this is what we have discussed very often. Crime, basically. See, statistics wise, probably crime is good because especially, statistics it is under control.
87% is the detection rate.
Correct. Wait. I knew you would go on that point. Now, what I want to know is what is the conviction rate? Heinous crimes, crimes against women, trafficking, conviction rate is almost it's about probably 5% less than the national average, including places like Bihar and UP. Now, sir, you are a lawyer, senior lawyer. You know all this. First you tell me whether I'm right or wrong, and then we'll go further.
You are more than correct. There is no doubt about it. See, there is a difference between crime detection rate and conviction rate.
Correct.
See, as far as conviction is concerned, there is a long drawn procedure and there are many hiccups on the way. One is society has moved on. We can't rely upon same. Now with this, of course, some changes have been made by introducing 3 new laws. But
not
science,
enough, I feel.
It's not enough. Science has to rope in. See, scientific evidence has to be, the parameters have to change. Trials, you have to provide. See, पहिली गोष्ट म्हणजे 10-20 वर्सां ट्रायल चालले ते विटनेसेस मरून वतात आणि कितें जातात. It can only hamper the cause of justice, not enhance the cause of justice. So we should have fast track courts. We should have more number of judges. There has to be proper planning, presentation of evidence, scientific way of investigation, providing with high-tech instruments, and there are various other ways. Police training.
But detection is not the criteria to choose the crime.
No, that's the first thing.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
now,
the first step. That's the first step. See,
yeah,
it may not be everything. It may not be everything. Detection is, but that's the first. If you are not able to detect the crime, where is the question of putting anybody to trial?
Sir, let me ask you one question. Ata one murderer is caught, alleged, accused is caught for murder. So he's in bail, he's in jail. You check the statistics. 1 month, 2 months, sutlo. Then what? Next 20 years he's out. By the time he's old, whether he's convicted or they can't farak padta. In fact, I think the politicians today, especially yours, are more in jail for a longer time than all these murderers and all.
Therefore,
no, that is my point.
Enough number of judges, a quick trial, changes in the procedural laws.
Important.
So many things which are unnecessary must be done away with, and it has to be because but for all this starts with the willingness of the state, and that I see not many government dragging its feet. And no, I'm not talking about Goa. Everywhere in the country, you see when states like countries like UK, where or many other countries, because we have borrowed the same legal system. Many European countries, the conviction rate is about 80 to 90%, more than 75%. Some countries about 80%. So therefore, why are we not be able to do that? And many of the provisions of Evidence Act, which are totally tilted in favor of accused.
Completely.
Needs to be done. See, that
Archaic,
was okay.
archaic.
That was okay 100 years back. But of course, there are some things which have been introduced. Some things like digital evidence and other things have been introduced that will make a difference.
Too
May
little.
not be substantial.
Too
May not be
little.
substantial.
Too little.
But yes, one step at a time. I see progress in the right direction. But it is not enough. It's not a journey which it is. It's journey that just began. It's not a distance which is already traveled. But anyway, crime is not the only thing that we have come to discuss.
No.
As far
Hopefully
it's,
not, yeah.
it's an important thing.
Also, you also are culturally inclined. What about that KL theatre? You agree?
Now, see, as far as that this is concerned, it is that's basically by pollution. It's a tax which has been this by pollution, and it's wrong to say, because see, politicians always like to, you talk about some political any functions where 50 or more people are going to come and you are going to cause pollution, noise pollution will be taxed. It's not restricted only to theatre or natak or everything. Everything will come. आता काय ते theatre म्हणटकीच मागीर ते it gets appealed to the people. Otherwise, if you just talk about noise pollution, I think people will support it. But if you present it in a manner that if particular section of the people or particular community or you can तियात्रच म्हणपाक जाय अशें काय, लग्न म्हटलें जाल्यार आनी तियातले, जात्रा म्हटली जाल्यार आनी कोणी जातले. So politicians have a habit of doing that. See, whether it is right, if you ask me, no, it should not have been introduced. I am not very small thing. How much revenue are you going to make? And what is the purpose? What is the purpose? Are you really thinking that because of this sound pollution is going to come down or something? Those who are in a these to pay that tax will pay and make more noise, because you have now paid tax. There is a sanction of the government. That's my personal view. Of course, that's my personal view. I don't know unless the text comes in the hand and we read the fine print, because the devil is always in the detail. So unless we read the fine text, it's premature to comment. But something of this nature, I don't think practical and reflecting it on the ground.
Pyobab, you are from Margaon. All these also this starting with Khel Theatre, generally Ata Tumi, you heard the governor's speech. What do you feel?
Look, looking at the governor's speech and listening to it, Bob Lulenkar, and he has detailed some of the issues.
Points, yes.
It is like a makeshift, just a customary policy of rendering a speech and talking about the government's policies. But has it actually been practically done? That's the question. And if you see, this is a routine habit of the government in power, which just says things but never does it. For example, earlier they used to say they brought something like Sarkar Tumche Dari. I think it was lifted from the Aam Aadmi Party's government in Delhi to show that we'll also do something like them. But saying is one thing and doing is another thing. And we realized what is the Sarkar Tumche Dari, we realized it. Whereas in Delhi you will understand what Sarkar Tumche Dari is. You really go to the people's homes and you give them that service. People call you late at night also after coming back from work. So, this is a practical form of governance which is totally missing here. But there are a lot of loud promises. This is a kind of a fancy cover-up of the government's work, which is absolute failure if you go to see.
So you think this session will be of use to bring out some of these things in the government, you think? Because you all have 2 MLAs in the...
Yes, and we are probably the major opposition, just 2 MLAs.
I don't know if Sunil will agree with that.
We can have... I agree, the Congress of course has a presence, a strong presence, but as far as issues and pressure on the government is concerned, if you see, the Aam Aadmi Party and the MLAs have been very vocal and very outspoken on various issues. In fact, Bob Benzi has said today, we will be the voice of the people and we will be the hope of the people. Why did he need to say that? Because there is no voice of the people, because the voice has gone out. The MLAs have been borrowed and taken to the other side. Plenty of voices have gone out and only a few MLAs are remaining to go. One of the things that the governor has mentioned, I could not listen to the entire speech in detail. But some incentives for tourism. Now, as you know, tourism is something which is very much required. But that also has been announced in a discriminatory manner. हांवें आयकलां की there will be some incentives given for bread and breakfast this thing
in remote areas.
opportunity,
Remote areas.
but no, not remote areas. They have selected certain talukas.
Homestay.
Now if you homestay, now if you look at these talukas, not all talukas can be said to be backward in terms of tourism. Like Perne is not backward. Kankon you cannot say is backward in tourism, but they've been given this benefit. Whereas what is the fault of Salset? What is the fault of Tiswadi? Now these are areas where the BJP is not dominant, essentially not dominant as a party, and so it appears that they have been left alone, you know.
Discriminatory, are you?
Yeah, it is. I mean, this has been this is overtly done, but there are a lot of things covertly done as far as discrimination is concerned, and it's all seen. But you know, in the general way, if you ask the person on the street, how do you feel about the government? What do you think he would say? You ask a person about a smart city in Panjim, I think he'll laugh about it. See, you are laughing about it because you know that concept of smart city has totally been in vain. You call it something totally
We'll have to
unsmart
speak
as smart.
I cannot say because I'm the anchor, but we'll have to speak to Advocate Samant.
ना पण ताका कितें की आसपा न्ही ताका कितें म्हणटा ती मेयर आसपा एक सीमा आसपा जाय. You say smart city, then you at least live up to that reputation of smart city. You are going exactly in the opposite direction. And as far as expenditure is concerned, there's been no mention. You can see that this government is known for wasteful expenditure. We knew how they spent for the swearing-in ceremony to the tune of 5 crores. And we don't know how that expenditures are going to be brought down. We are already reeling under 24,000 crore debt. How that debt is going to be addressed. None of this has been actually addressed by the governor in his address. Of course, he is doing a customary address on behalf of the government. But corruption is the root cause of all this, as we know. And we have heard today from the, a voice, I would say, from the government side only. The speaker has accused one of the MLAs of corruption. And he passed some comments. So this is something, which is the underbelly of this government. What has been said about so-called pompous activities that they've done is just for make-believe. It is not actually, when you go to the street, it is a totally different picture. And you can get this done. It's not that the government cannot do it, they can do it. There's absolutely no willpower. What is missing is the willpower to deliver to the people. When you have such a, what do you call that, a big mandate, borrowed or whatever, taken.
Mandate or majority?
Majority, correct. Not a mandate, I stand corrected. It's a majority borrowed from outside and still you cannot deliver. Then I think arrogance has been settled.
Okay, Sunil Bab, what do you feel about this whole governor speech and now the budget and in general?
Governor speech ji आज जाल्या म्हाका दिसता in the coming days of the session there will be proper dissection of that governor speech and is mentioned by the opposition MLAs. And when I say opposition, I will include Congress MLAs, Aam Aadmi Party MLAs, Goa Forward MLA, because that is the actual voice of the people of Goa, and that is a strong united opposition which will fight the government on the floor of the house. But overall जर ती स्पीच जर आजची ऐकली जाल्यार म्हाका दिसता इट इज अ स्टेल पॉलिटिकल रेटोरीक. म्हटल्यार बीजेपीची पार्टीचे जे कॅम्पेन स्पीच आसता पळय ती दिल्ले भशेन ती स्पीच, पण ताका स्पीचीक कांय ग्लॅमरूय नासलो, त्या स्पीचीक अर्थूय कांय नासलो. तीच व्हडली नांवां विकसीत भारत बी म्हणटा तशी विकसीत इज डेवलप्ड, जसो की स्मार्ट सिटी आमी म्हणटा विकसीत. पणजे जर एक मनीस एक 5-10 मिनटां जर भोंवत ताका विकसीत क्वॉलिटी ऑफ इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर कितें तो आपल्या स्वताच्या दोळ्यांनी पळोवपाक मेळटलो. तें आमी ऑपोजिशन म्हणून सांगपाची गरज ना वेगळी. त्याच बरोबर स्वयंपूर्ण गोवा समृद्ध भारत म्हणटा. म्हाका दिसता बीजेपीचे लिडर स्वयंपूर्ण जाल्या हे लास्ट 10-12 वर्सांनी सत्तेर आसत पासून गोंयान, आनी बीजेपी पार्टी समृद्ध जाल्या पण गोंयकार जमना आनी इंडियेचे लोक जमना. कित्याक जेन्ना सरकार सांगता अनएम्प्लॉयमेंटाचेर स्पीचीन कांय क्लॅरिटी कसलीच ना की अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट आमी कशें टॅकल करतले, लोकांक जॉब्स कशे प्रोवायड करतले, कितले जॉब्स प्रोवायड करतले. दे आर टॉकिंग समथींग अबाउट एप्रेंटिसशीप. म्हळ्यार प्रॉब्लेम एका जाग्यार आसा जाल्यार टोटली दे आर डायवर्टींग एटेन्शन फ्रॉम द प्रॉब्लेम टू समवेअर एल्स. म्हळ्यार तो मनीस परमनंट हँडिकॅप करून ताका दवरपाचो, तो लायफान आपल्या पांयाचेर सारको उबो रावपाक शकपाचो ना. बाबा तो एप्रेंटिसशीप जावन ट्रेन जावन फुडें ताका खंय घालतलो. ताजो एंड रिजल्ट कितें ताजेर तांचे कडेन उत्तरूच ना. सगळ्यांत शॉकिंग म्हाका आज गजाल गव्हर्नर स्पिचाच्यान दिसली ती म्हणल्यार एबसेन्स ऑफ म्हादई. देर वॉज दीस इज द मोस्ट कन्सर्निंग इशू गोंया खातीर इज द म्हादई रिवर. तातूंत अजिबात मेन्शन ना. हाजे वयल्यान हे सरकाराक आमचे गोंयचे बद्दल, गोंयकारां बद्दल, गोंयकाराच्या अस्तित्वा बद्दल कितली सिरियसनस आसा ती दिसून येता. कित्याक ना जाल्यार तातूंत एक सिरियस कितें तरी मेन्शन आसपाक जाय आसलो म्हादईचे बद्दल, पण म्हादई इज टोटली आउट ऑफ द गव्हर्नर स्पीच. नाव कमिंग बॅक टू द अदर एस्पेक्ट ऑफ इट, म्हाका दिसता की भाजपाची दशा म्हणटा ती आमी सगळे लोक पळयत आसा इतले दीस. दशा तांची दोळ्यान सगळ्यांक दिसता. गोंयकार प्रत्येक सफर जाता मनीस. आज रस्त्याची दुर्दशा जाली. इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर म्हणटात हांवें म्हणलेल्या प्रमाणे प्रत्येक मनशाचे जेन्ना गाडयांचे व्हेहिकलाचे टायर पिड्ड्यार जाता, कट जाता, और खड्ड्यांनी जे नवे रस्ते केल्ले आसा ते एकाच पावसान व्हांवन वता, खड्ड्यांनी पडून सस्पेन्शन डॅमेज जाता. हजारांनी रुपया प्रत्येक मनशाक खर्च येता. कोणूय जावं तो मागीर काँग्रेसीचो जावं बीजेपीचो जावं. बीजेपीचे कितें आसा, एक सर्टन लेवलाचे लोक आसा ते मजा मारता. नॉर्मल तांचो कार्यकर्तो खडी फोडटात रस्त्यार, पण जेन्ना ताजी गाडी बाबड्याची थंय टायर ताजो खड्ड्यान पडटा आनी टायर फुट्टा, कोणाची सस्पेन्शनां वता, हे पयशे तांकां कोण दितलो? तांकां दिसता बेस्ट आमकां 5,000 रुपया म्हयन्याक मेळटा, 1 लाख रुपया कोणा बायलांक मेळटा. पण तो 1 लाख तुज्या घरान येता खरो, पण ते 1 लाखांतले 60-70 हजार रुपया टॅक्साकूच वता. गव्हर्मेंट डिफरंट तरेन टॅक्स काडटा आनी ते टॅक्स निम्माणे सगळे इव्हेंट करता. डिफरंट इव्हेंट, एकवा इव्हेंट जालो लोकोत्सव इव्हेंट जालो दुसरो इव्हेंट, एक इव्हेंट तिसरो, फक्त इव्हेंटाचो आउटकम कितें कोणा कडेच उत्तर ना. ते इव्हेंटांच्यान गोंयांक बेनिफीट कितें आसलो कांय ना. फक्त एक बरो एंटरटेनमेंट मेळटा. हांवूय गेल्लो काल लोकोत्सवाक, बरें मातशें म्हणल्यार इट वॉज अ ग्लॅमरस जात्रा. म्हणजे ही आसता पळय, म्हणल्यार जात्रा म्हणून शकना हांव, फेरी मातशी एक फॅन बीन लायिल्ली बरी, लायटी क्लीन एनवायरमेंटान, एक तुका फील गूड फॅक्टर तो बीजेपीचो. म्हणजे तुका बरें दिसता मातशें ते भोंवलो की. आनी हो फॉर अ लाँग टायम चालू आसलो. पण सांगपाची गोश्ट म्हणल्यार हे इव्हेंट गोंयांक खरेंच गरज आसा काय, हो प्रश्न म्हाका दिसता आज विचारपाची गरज आसा. कित्याक फक्त इव्हेंट, डेकोरेशन, ते लायटी घालप, हाजेर कोट्यांनी रुपया सरकाराचे पयशे उधळले वता. जे पयशे बीजेपीच्या ट्रेजरींच्यान येना, हे पयशे जो मनीस सकाळचो 6, 6:30, 7 घरांच्यान भायर सरता आनी जो रातचो आपलें 6 काम सुटून 8, 8:30, 9 घरा पावता, दीसभर तो मनीस और ती बायलो मनीस स्लॉग करता आनी कश्टान जी आपली सॅलरी जी घरान हाडटा, ते सॅलरींच्यान जे GST आनी ते कट जावन वता, तेच पयशांनी हे सरकार इव्हेंट करता. हाजेर उत्तर कोणा कडेच ना. आनी म्हाका दिसता हाजेर उत्तर दिवपाची गरज आसा. आनी ही हांवें तुका दशा सांगली हे सरकाराची. आनी हे सरकाराची दुर्दशा म्हणटा पळय ती आज अशी उक्तड्यार आयल्या. कित्याक एसेंब्लीचें सेशन चालू आसा, आज पयलोच दीस, आनी गोवा लेजिस्लेटिव्ह एसेंब्लीचो स्पीकर तवडकर बाब, ताका आज पत्रकार परिशद घेवन मिनिस्टर ऑफ आर्ट एंड कल्चर, स्पोर्ट्स आर्ट एंड कल्चर गोविंद गावडेचेर ताणें सिरियस भ्रश्टाचाराचे आरोप केल्या. जेन्ना राज्याच्या स्पीकराक, जो सबंद हावस चलयता आनी जो ऑपोजिशनाचे चार्ज आसता सरकाराचेर, ते तो बॅलन्स करता आनी बरे भशेन एक डेमोक्रेटीक सेटअप जो आमच्या संविधानान घालून दिला तो चलयता, ते मनशाक स्वता आपली एसेंब्ली चालू आसतना जर पत्रकार परिशद घेवन जर एका मंत्र्यान, जो मंत्र्याचेर म्हाका दिसता खूब बरोच काळ जालो सिरियस भ्रश्टाचाराचे आरोप जाल्या आनी प्रोसिजर तो टोटली फ्लावट करता, तो स्वताक शाहजहान म्हणटा. आतां आमकां ताका शाहजहान गावडे म्हणचो पडलो, कित्याक ताका टेंडरींग तो कांय लागना. तो कितें ताजे जे जाग्यार आमी आतां पळयलां की ताजे खात्यान ताजें कितें इनवॉल्ड आहा थंय देर इज सम प्रॉब्लेम. पण जेन्ना ही म्हाका दिसता देशान पयलेच फावट जाली आसतली गजाल की विंटर आनी बजट सेशन हें क्लब केल्लें जें सेशन हें चालू आसा, तें सेशन चालू आसतना सेशनाचे पयलेच दिसा रुलींग पार्टीचो जो स्पीकर आसा, ते स्पीकराक पत्रकार परिशद घेवन सांगचें पडटा की मिनिस्टरान घोटाळो केलो म्हणून. दीस इज अ मॉरल डिफीट ऑफ दीस गव्हर्मेंट. एक्चुअली ऑन दीस सेम इशू द चीफ मिनिस्टर हॅज टू आयदर सॅक द मिनिस्टर or tender his resignation immediately.
Okay. Now we have this session. We have so many, I don't know, 6-7 days of the session left. 1 day budget. So I am out of time. I think we are live on this program. I would have 10 seconds if you want. I'll give you all before we get into. Mohandas Bab, 10 seconds.
ना 10 seconds म्हणजे कशें आहा, जशें सांगलें तशें म्हादई प्रवाहाचेर जी हें केल्लें आसा, सेंट्रल गव्हर्मेंटान अपॉयंट केल्लो ताजेर बजेटाक कांय ना, जशें हाणें सांगलें तशें. लोन पर कॅपिटा कितलो लोकांचेर आसा ताजेर तांगेलें कांय ना. दुसरी करप्शनाच्या बाबतींत उलयतना सांगता की मध्य रोहन काउंटी रेव्हेन्यू मिनिस्टर्सान म्युटेशनाचे दोतोराक खबर उरतलें की 1,000 रुपया रजिस्ट्रांक दिवपाचे आनी करपाचे. 1,000 आतां 1,000 रुपया रजिस्ट्रांक घेता पूण म्युटेशन जायना. म्युटेशनाक ते पयशे दिवचे पडटात. सो तूं थंयी पयशे घेता आनी परतो डब्बल हे केला. दोतोर ताजेर तुका चड
Yeah,
एक्सप्लेन
Dodor,
करतलो.
you feel now these are some serious allegations. You also have 10 seconds.
Too short time to
Yeah, I know, but
take
yeah,
care
we
of
have
it.
like a-
But पहिली गोष्ट म्हणजे गव्हर्नराचे जे अभिभाषण असता पळय, दॅट इज नॉर्मली गव्हर्मेंट्स dictated speech. It's not that he can speak on his own. So whatever has been reiterated in that speech, it's basically the statement of the government. So you don't hold it against the governor that
I don't
this
think
was
they hold
We are not holding it against
I
the
think
government.
so therefore
Absolutely.
yes and whatever that does not preclude आता मादेईचो उल्लेख ना म्हणटा, that does not preclude opposition from asking any questions to the government.
I'm sorry to interrupt you next
Yeah,
time.
okay.
Yeah, thanks. Now this was interesting. I had like it went a little more than just the governor's speech and the assembly session. But we will be doing this assembly audit on a daily basis. 6th, the Prime Minister is in Goa. 8th, it's the budget session. So we hope to see you all. Please follow. I mean, please keep on watching Goa 365. Thanks, guys, and keep watching.
ballistics, computer forensics,
and DNA fingerprinting.